Hi students, my name is Sagar Pandya and today we are going to understand the second part of one of the most interesting and one of the most beautiful chapter of our syllabus, that is 12th Standard Maharashtra State Board, second chapter of political science, the key concepts and also the issues of 1991 globalization. Let's begin. Students, till last video we started learning about two issues. First one about the economic issues and second one was the political issue. Now we are going to learn about the next part. Now when we started learning about the political issue, let us learn about some of the examples which came across which has certain better issues. Like for example, let us see some examples to understand these issues in a better way. India is a signatory to various international treaties and organizations which came across. बहुत सारे ऐसे organizations, international treaties, international organizations and conventions बनाए थे. Conventions मतलब meetings. As a member of World Trade Organization, India is required to follow some rules regarding international trade practices. Like for example, the treaty signed with Indus Water Treaty was signed with Pakistan. दूसरे साइड पे फराका अग्रीमेंट वॉज साइंड विथ बांग्लादेश विच रिक्वायर्स इंडिया टू फॉलो द अग्रीमेंट इन मैटर ऑफ शेयरिंग रिवर वाटर ऑफ रिवर इंडस एज वेल एज रिवर गंगा. There were various organizations like for example Amnesty International. Sir, last time तो हम लोगों ने ये वीडियो में पढ़ा था Amnesty International. What was it all about? So Amnesty International or the Greenpeace raise humanitarian issues and put pressure on local governments. So Amnesty has been critical on the Indian government's position on human rights in regions like Kashmir, जिसकी वजह से इंडिया पाकिस्तान का वॉर हुआ था. दूसरे साइड पे हम लोगों ने एक फर्स्ट चैप्टर में एक कंट्री का नाम देखा था चेचनिया. When Chernobyl disaster took place, that is in Chechnya, the effects of radiation spread across Europe. Such environmental disasters cannot be restricted to a nation's boundary, and that is why it can go globally. European countries were forced to cooperate and take action to ensure that the ill effects do not harm their population also. And that is why वहाँ पे वो यूरोपियन कंट्रीज सब ने मिलके ये डिसाइड किया था कि भाई ये हमारे कंट्री पे अफेक्ट नहीं होना चाहिए, बिकॉज न्यूक्लियर रेडिएशंस आ सकते हैं ना. इसके लिए वी कैन सी द आफ्टर इफेक्ट्स, द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज ऑफ हिरोशिमा एंड नागासाकी इवन टुडे. Next, Narmada Bachao Andolan, which had approached the World Bank to support its cause of opposition to big dams and had internationalized the issues. मतलब ये नर्मदा बचाओ आंदोलन बेसिकली इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे गया था टू गेट द परमिशन फ्रॉम द वर्ल्ड बैंक के भाई ऐसे बड़े बड़े डैम्स बनाना बंद करो, बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इट विल बी अफेक्टेड द लाइफ ऑफ द स्मॉलर विलेजेस एंड द कॉमन पीपल हु आर स्टेइंग देयर. There has been an opposition to the building of nuclear power plants in Jaipur and also at Kudankulam. Political parties and NGOs have opposed the building of these projects despite getting proper clearance. So if you can see in this particular picture, there is an agitation against Kudankulam nuclear plant. Next, in all the above cases, जब भी हम लोग ये सब cases देख रहे हैं, the state sovereignty मतलब supreme rulingness was challenged by these groups. These are some of the challenges that the state faces from within and from without. मतलब without मतलब outside. Therefore, it is argued that the role of the state is slowly reducing. In the economic sphere, it is reducing because of the increasing importance of the private sector, and in the political sphere, the domestic and international pressures have reduced the authority of the state. जैसे ही अथॉरिटीज रिड्यूस हो गया, हाउ इंपॉर्टेंट इज द स्टेट इन द एज ऑफ ग्लोबलाइजेशन. क्यों इतना इंपॉर्टेंस दे रहे? बिकॉज ग्लोबलाइजेशन मतलब तो सर इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड हुआ, तो वाई आर वी गिविंग सो मच इंपॉर्टेंस टू द गवर्नमेंट? इज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ द स्टेट एंड इट्स फीचर स्टिल रिलेवेंट? इज इट स्टिल देयर? इज देयर अ विड्रॉल ऑफ द स्टेट एज एन एजेंसी ऑफ वेलफेयर एंड डेवलपमेंट? Let us look at the main feature of the state. The main elements of our territory, sovereign government and people. Today the territory of the state still remains intact. State still talk of nationalism and national integration, that is national unity. The concept of sovereign government also continues to exist. मतलब वो है, ट्रेड भी चल रहा है, nationalism भी है, patriotism भी है, integration, unity भी है. It is true that some of its powers have reduced due to international treaty obligations, but the authority of the state still remains the same. The power is still there in the hands of the government. Decide करने वाला तो government ही होगा ना. The rise of ethnic nationalism and the demand for self-determination has led to the creation of new states, but as we saw in the earlier chapter, this had led to the creation of new states, not the dissolution of the concept of the state, because there is no dissolution. Government को importance खत्म नहीं करने देंगे, मतलब government का importance खत्म हो भी नहीं सकता. Decide करने वाला कौन होगा foreign policy? Government. States that have a strong framework of political institutions like the legislature, executive, judiciary, and bureaucracy. Legislature is the one who makes the law, executive is the one who executes or implements the law, judiciary is the one who protects the law, and bureaucracy, the one who basically are the protector of all these things, are able to face the challenges of globalization. It is these institutions that are able to protect the core values, the main values of a country, provide social safety nets, and promote development in the country. Despite the many concerns that about the loss of sovereignty matlab self-rulingness, the state remains the key actor in the domestic and international sphere. Government. The popular assumption that the emergence of global civil society and increasing levels of cross-border trade, finance and investment flows have made the state irrelevant. This is wrong. मतलब जो लोगों का माइंडसेट है कि भाई क्रॉस बॉर्डर ट्रेड बंद हो जाएगा, इन्वेस्टमेंट बंद हो जाएगा, फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट बंद हो जाएगा, फ्लोज बंद हो जाएंगे, इररेलेवेंट हो जाएंगे, दैट इज रॉन्ग. ऐसा नहीं होगा. And now, because of these mindsets, we are going to learn about the next part, that is the ideological issues. Now, ideology was an important factor during the Cold War era. Countries used to be classified as socialist or communist on one hand and capitalist or free democracies on the other. Soviet Union, USSR, East Europe and China were grouped as the socialist world, while West Europe and North America was the capitalist bloc. मतलब हमने देखा था एक साइड पे कैपिटलिज्म, दूसरे साइड पे कम्युनिज्म, एक साइड पे यूएसए, दूसरे साइड पे यूएसएसआर. While ideology was a political feature, the economic system followed by the country depended upon the ideology of that particular country. For example, the countries of Eastern Europe had followed socialist ideology and had socialist economic system, where the government or the public sector was the most important factor for them. The Western European countries followed capitalist ideology. जब भी उन लोगों ने capitalist ideology follow किया, Eastern European countries ने क्या किया? Socialist ideology follow किया. मतलब can you understand? Bipolar world तो इधर ही दिख रहा है तुम लोग को. Hence, their economic system was also capitalist in nature. In these countries, the private sector played an important role in economy. During this period, countries like India were democratic socialist. Democratic socialist. Can you understand mixed economy? Capitalism, communism, दोनों साथ में. This meant that they combined the ideologies of socialism and capitalism as per the requirement. Consequently, India had a mixed economic system. This meant that both the public as well as the private sector played an important role in the economic system in India. Today, in the era of globalization, there appears to be only one dominant ideological and economic system. This is described as the market economy. But all the countries do not follow the same kind of market economic system. The nature of market economy is determined by the ideology of that country. कौन सा ideology तू follow करता है वो बोल. Are you capitalist? Are you socialist? नहीं, India में आजा. Mixed economy. Let us take some example. Like for example, the United States is considered as a capitalist market economy because it combines the capitalist system of economy with market company. Western European countries are described as welfare market economy because their political system is welfare state which works for only मतलब capitalism रहे या socialism रहे, लोगों का भलाई होना चाहिए. China is described as having socialist market economy. China is a socialist state, but its economic system changed in 1990s and became a market economic system. In India, we do not use the word market economics. We describe Indian system as economic liberalism. What is liberalism? Freedom. India economic freedom देता है अपने लोगों को. वेलफेयर स्टेट तो है, लोगों का भला ही सोचता है, इकोनॉमिकली भी फ्रीडम. द नेक्स्ट पार्ट दैट वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न, टेक्नोलॉजी. The nature of global communication changed rapidly in 1990s. The satellite communication facility system, mobile phone, telephone, fax, internet, etc. brought in a revolutionary change in the social, political and economic life of the people. Like ये कभी चालू हुआ, like for example हम लोग टेलीविजन का बात कर रहे हैं या कम्युनिकेशन का बेसिकली बात कर रहे हैं कि वर्ल्ड के एक पार्ट से दूसरे पार्ट पे हम लोगों ने ग्लोबलाइजेशन में देखा व्हाट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट, टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट, कम्युनिकेशन. सो कम्युनिकेशन कैसे पता चला, वर्ल्ड के एक पार्ट पे कुछ चीज़ हो रहा है वो दूसरे पार्ट पे भी पता चल रही है. इट ऑल स्टार्टेड व्हेन इन द ईयर 1990 व्हेन CNN केम इनटू इंडिया एंड सबसे पहले इराक वॉर का फुटेज दिखाया था, जो इराक कुवैत वाला भी हम लोगों ने पढ़ा था वो. सो जब ये फुटेज दिखाया, अंटिल द कमिंग इन ऑफ अ फॉरेन चैनल, दूरदर्शन वाज द ओनली टेलीविजन ब्रॉडकास्टर इन इंडिया. बट जब ये पता चला कि एक फॉरेन चैनल भी आ रहा है एंड लाइव टेलीकास्ट दिखा रहा है, इट बिकेम समथिंग न्यू. In Maharashtra, for example, we saw only two channels, Mumbai and Delhi Doordarshan. Within a span of a decade, the Indian TV network had several channels. Within 10 years, span of a decade. इतने सारे चैनल्स आ गए. आज देखे तो 1000 चैनल से ऊपर है. मतलब एक भी चैनल देखने का मन नहीं करता था. वो टाइम पे 2 ही चैनल था, सब लोग देखते थे. द इंडियन टीवी नेटवर्क हैड सेवरल चैनल्स बट दैट वर बोथ प्राइवेट एज वेल एज गवर्नमेंटल. सैटेलाइट कम्युनिकेशन सिस्टम मेड इट ईजी टू हैव अ डिश एंटेना एंड वॉच प्रोग्राम्स एनीवेयर इन इंडिया. इसको लगा डाला तो लाइफ जिंगा लाला वो टाइम से. Changes also took place in other means of communication. Earlier, telephone connections were not available in all the households. People would use the public telephone in the post or telegraph office in case of emergencies. Long distance calls were done through a system of trunk calls. Later on, slowly and gradually, the government introduced the STD, subscriber trunk dialing. STD करके आता हूँ, फोन करके आता हूँ. Today we have mobile connectivity which is used by almost everybody. Full Jio dhan dhana dhan. Both private and government mobile phone systems are available today. The internet revolution was perhaps the most important revolution in the field of technology. It became possible to connect to anyone in the world instantly. This global communication infrastructure was helped in the spread of ideas, cultures and information. Internet has provided search engines to find information. It has also enabled social networking activities like Twitter है, Skype है, Instagram है, Facebook है, WhatsApp है, और क्या मतलब कितना कितना बोलो उतना कम. The technologies of the information age are by their nature transnational. Mobile phones आया, satellite television आया, इंटरनेट आया. इंटरनेट ऑपरेट्स रिगार्डलेस ऑफ द बॉर्डर. मतलब आज जैसे मैंने बोला बाइकला से लेके बायंदर तक सब जगह पे घूमा, जग घूमया, मेरे को किधर नहीं मिला, किधर मिला, बॉस्टन में. तो कैन आई कनेक्टेड डायरेक्टली? ऑफ कोर्स. क्यों? इंटरनेट, टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट. दिस हैज फैसिलिटेटेड द ग्रोथ ऑफ ट्रांस बॉर्डर ग्रुप्स, बॉडीज एंड इंस्टीट्यूशंस रेंजिंग फ्रॉम NGOs, that is non government organizations, TNCs, that is transnational corporations, to international criminal and terrorist organizations also. The states have found it difficult to control and restrict the operations of trans-border groups and organizations. And जब भी हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं about without any kind of restrictions, without any kind of problems, let us learn about how society and culture is accepting these things, and अगर वो accept नहीं कर रहे तो कौन से issues आ रहे. So social and cultural issues. The revolution in global media and easy access to the internet has made people aware of what is happening globally. Internationally क्या चल रहा है सबको पता है. This along with the movement of the people within the country and the world has had an impact on society and culture. We see the emergence of what is called global cosmopolitan culture. There is a great deal for Western domination. Like for example, recently इतने टाइम से चल रहा है for stopping the racial discrimination. तो एक movement चालू हुआ, Black Lives Matter. क्या हुआ? Global cosmopolitan culture. There is a great deal of Western domination on this global cosmopolitan culture. Values like modernization, westernization, secularization, and considered more important than traditional values. This is seen in personal lifestyle of the people also. Like for example, there is an increase in the consumption of fast foods like burgers, pizzas, vada paos, etc. The method of celebrating traditional festivals like Christmas, Diwali, etc. has become more westernized. New ideas like celebrating Mother's Day, Father's Day, Friendship Day have come in. And there is also an increasing demand of Western wear in the clothes that are purchased in the market. Speechless for that. Another aspect of this global nature or global culture is the rise of individualism and materialism. Individualism and materialism in the society. The breakup of traditional family system was mainly due to urbanization, and there came across nuclear family, chota parivar, sukhi parivar. This has been further enhanced by the concept of individualism. We are likely to hear the words, I want my privacy, or this is my personal space. Right from school going children to elderly people, everyone says this particular thing. Similarly, the tendency to spend beyond one's financial means has increased due to introduction of the credit cards. मेरे पास कार्ड है, स्वाइप द कार्ड प्लीज, हो गया खत्म, कभी बिल भरेगा पता नहीं. When we look at the globalization from all angles, we realize that there are both private as well as both positive as well as negative aspects for that. Positive aspects, as there are new opportunities that have opened up for the youth in our country. We are now more aware of what is happening in the world and how it can affect us. We are better connected, new employment opportunities have come across, and more job opportunities are being created because of this, because of the new technological advancement. This change is mainly through the private sector as it has the financial capability. There is a serious financial limitation on what services the government can provide. But there are also negative aspects also. There is a fear that the welfare activity that the state provides would come to an end. There is also the fear that international competition would cripple down to local business, especially small businesses के लिए. In the field of agriculture, the fear is that the small and marginal farmers would not be able to compete with the big corporates. So इसके negatives भी है. So in reality, India's biggest problem is attitude and the mindset. But India has identified all the foreign capital and trade with its history and imperialistic dependence. Independence meant autonomy, self-rule, self-reliance. India's opposition to liberalization has roots in its ideology at being anti-imperialistic. What is imperialism? Domination of an undeveloped nation by a developed nation. कि जो imperialism इतने टाइम से चल रहा था, ब्रिटिशर्स आए थे इंडिया में, imperialism, तो हम लोग anti-imperialistic थे. India's socialist and capitalist are both hostile to liberalization, the former for ideological reasons, the latter because of the fear of losing the traditional protection that they have enjoyed in India. Because India is famous for its rich culture, for its rich heritage, for its rich tradition. In the long run, it is for the Indian state to protect its core values and ensure that the welfare net is maintained so that the marginalized and the underprivileged people do not suffer. This continues to be an important role of every person in this government and also being the people in this country in the age of globalization to bring about a change into the mindset of the people. That's it from my side, dear students. Thank you so much. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel. Please share it with your friends. हो सके उतना ज़्यादा share करो, support करो. Bye bye.